the left. Goalkeeper, what are you doing? Oh. Can I have Armando Cunha back? What on earth?
I told him I can be a fighter if you want. I'll be there to catch you if you fall. I can make it brighter when it's dark, when it's dark. I told him I would do it all for you, and I know you do it for me too. I can be a fighter if you want.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Survival Specialist. If you've been enjoying it, of course, smash that like button. Helps out. Channel, algorithm, good stuff. Thank you very much in advance. Right, so, I just noticed this. Stimmer und Sigurdsson is on loan at Real Zaragoza. And the thing is, he's played 24 times for them this season, but was not in the squad against us in the last match day. So he could have very easily played against us in that last game, but somehow just didn't make their team, which is weird. It is sad to see him not as a Sassuolo after 340 appearances and being their record goal scorer, having been at the club for 14 years. But I guess it was likely to happen eventually that they were trying to loan him out. I nearly got him for Heidenheim last season, in fairness. So they were obviously looking to do that. But yeah, I mean, the man's got a couple of goals for them in La Liga. I just thought you guys would be interested in that. It's just kind of mad that he's there and they didn't play him against us. It's like they knew, out of respect, that Kim wouldn't want to play against one of his former players. And maybe it cost them. He'd have probably beaten us, wouldn't he? So, I'm in a much better mood. Suddenly feeling all positive about things after that great result at the end of the last video. It kind of reminds me a lot of how we started off at Heidenheim, actually. You know, poor result in the first one. Although, to be fair, we played really well against Stuttgart in that game. That game against Real Sociedad was a nutty one. Speaking of, apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's under pressure for his job at Real Sociedad. But they're in the... What exactly are they expecting? Are they expecting a title challenge? Although I think they have actually won the league at some point during this save, have they not? Or was that someone else? Hang on, who was it? It was Villarreal. Villarreal randomly won the league in the middle of this, so there is that, I suppose. But still. So, we go away to Athletic today. What about our local rivals? Leganes get yet another game against the team that you'd expect them to be doing well against. Then again, Cadiz are 7th in the league. So maybe not. I mean, that might be quite tough for them. Mallorca host Valencia, so you'd hope that Valencia could do us a favour there. Real Valladolid are away at Real Betis, so hopefully, again, a good result potentially on the cards for us there. So hopefully, we won't see any further damage down at the bottom. And you never know, maybe we could snatch a point here or something just to keep us in the hunt. At the end of the day, the gap was 3 points. The gap is now 1 point. So we've actually, we've removed 66% of the difference right now, and we're keeping hot on the tails of Mallorca, and that's really the key. As for lineups today, we get to shuffle things around a little bit more now. However, there will be a few changes I will be making. Firstly, Daniel is not coming back in. I will be starting Nelson Perez over him because Perez played really well in that last game, and Daniel I'm just not overly enthused by. Augustini, no. I'm going to be playing Antonio Jesus alongside Gutierrez. And then up front, surely, Duguay still gets to play there, right? Lurkin on the left, although I'm tempted now actually to start Bellaribi, or is he still not available? And Lurkin's still not quite got his full quota of fitness backlet. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. We're definitely not doing Culibras through the middle. My assistant is mad if he thinks that's going to happen. That's what I'm going to go with today. So the only real big changes coming in are Perez to start with us properly now, and Bellaribi on that left-hand side. I feel like Culibras has had a couple of games. He was dreadful against Real Sociedad, and he was pretty anonymous against Zaragoza in a game that we were actually very good in, and that's usually a sign that something isn't quite right there. So I want to give Bellaribi a chance to sort of impose himself. Having Gutierrez back as well is going to be a big deal. The fact that we managed to do what we did in the last game with an under-21 player, was it Moria, playing in that role, I think is a good sign that we can definitely do it, but we needed a player that could win the ball there. And I'm going to put Primitivo on the bench as well, just to give us a bit more options there. Augustini certainly wins his way in there too. Lurkin can definitely come off the bench, no doubt. And I will almost certainly be doing that. This is Andoni Bilbao, who plays for Athletic Club. Bilbao. Jesus, talk about idiosyncratic predisposition. Man, God. I mean, fair play. Just as well his surname wasn't Real Madrid. Kim has started to pick up a little bit of Spanish again. Like, he's got his old Rosetta Stone course out from back when he was at Osasuna. He's also been laying off the paella, which has definitely been helping him sort of just feel a little bit better about himself. I think he just misses Mika, honestly. I think he's hoping for the international break where he can take a little ditty back to Germany for a little bit. Massive stuff now. Athletic Club versus Albacete. It's a very defensive system, which could isolate their striker. We do have to be careful with Angulo, and I'm definitely going to pay heavy attention to him. But it does make me think that there's going to be little spaces that we can exploit, or at the very least be strong defensively. It depends on how attacking they actually play like this, really. We're just going to try and mark their lone striker completely out the game. Just have someone always sat on him, so he's got very little opportunity to latch on to anything. So if he makes a little run, they'll just go with him. If he drops deep, He'll get picked up by our sort of deeper lying midfielder, hopefully. Mallorca already lead Valencia, and Valladolid also lead in the first 10 minutes. So a catastrophic pair of goals have gone in elsewhere. Hopefully, given that it's early days, it's not going to be too catastrophic and that the other teams can come back, because the last thing we need is to fall further off the pace here. We could actually technically be finishing, suddenly, 4 points off the pace. Oh, that's a good ball, actually. And Arteaga's on the left. Goalkeeper, what are you doing? Oh. Can I have Armando Cunha back? What on earth? Ah, equaliser for Valencia. And Cadiz have taken the lead. Like, for an extended highlights first half, we've basically had none as it's gone. But if we were to somehow snatch like a 0-0 here, just keeping things extremely tight. Oh, Angulo's found a bit of space here. This should be great defending. Really good defending. Tiny little opening for him there, but that should hopefully be the highlight. And well played. It's a goal kick. Get to half-time. If we get a 0-0, I would be over the moon with that. Like, half-time, we've probably been... I mean, I say the better side. We haven't really. Neither team's really done anything. We've controlled possession. And we're doing the classic sort of bore them to tears approach. Defensively, excellent. Goalkeeper, little bit sus. I'm just extremely glad we weren't punished for his... I don't know. Did he get altitude? What on earth was the goalkeeper doing flying out to try to defend that when there was so many other bodies around him? Bizarre decision-making. But, hey, we didn't pay for it, and that's the main thing. And if we can continue to just take Angulo out the game for this second half, hopefully... Bilbao won't be able to come up with anything, and we can just kind of do our thing. We're not looking... Oh, God, Benjamin. We're not looking super creative ourselves, but, again, a point on the road here suddenly becomes 4 points from our first 3 games in charge, and everything looks a little bit more rosy, because this is the type of game that you could very easily lose, and passing like that is a good way of going about it, unfortunately. But, again, just making sure we track Angulo. Oh, look, they've done a bit of it themselves here. And here's Denilson Roca. He's just signed a new contract. I tried to not let him have one, but he kind of insisted on it, and we kind of needed to keep him happy. Gutierrez has taken a knock, and we don't have Modia on the bench. But we do have Daniel, who actually can play in midfield, and might be better off as an option there, honestly. They just switched their striker, and I nearly forgot to set up our new instructions for him to try and take him out of the game, because they've got Villanueva up top right now. If we were to get out of this with a 0-0 draw, that's still another point on the board against a decent side in mid-table away from home, and I would be very, very happy with that. And it'd be our first clean sheet. No, it wouldn't be. It'd be the second clean sheet in a row, actually. Antonio Jesus. Is there a little bit of madness here, though? Roca. Lurken. Oh, go on. It's a shot on target, but it was a relatively weak one, and it's an easy one for Esnaola. And Mallorca have scored, though. Bad news. Really bad news, as Mallorca have scored against Valencia. Oh, he's gone short for Arteaga. That's why. Okay, lads, do not let your concentration levels drop now. Sensible plays here. Just block this. Yes, Daniel. Oh, Daniel, brilliant work. In fact, no. Didn't quite manage to aim the pass properly, but that's killed another 20 seconds of play. We've got 20 seconds left here until the 0. Oh, God, another free kick. This is pretty much guaranteed that this is going to be the last kick of the game now, because they'll have to kill at least another 10 seconds. Right. Just make sure. All right, good. There's a guy on the edge of the box. That's good. Just stay. Oh, don't. This is worrying. He still plays it short. Good block. And clears it. And that should hopefully do it. Athletic Club 0. Albacete 0. Hey. Despite results elsewhere, it's another point on the board for us, which is the main thing. We limited them to no shots on target, controlled the possession, struggled to break them down ourselves, but sometimes in a result like this, again, defensively, looks really solid, and that's a huge thing to build on. Couldn't really get anything going up front, really, but hey, it happens. Still, I'll take that. You've got to try and get points where you can. Yeah, Mallorca 2, Valencia 1 is a poor result. Cadiz beating Leganes 4-1 is good for us, though, and Valladolid, did they get any points or not? They did, actually. They got a draw against Real Betis, which isn't ideal. But we've actually now gone back to 3 points from safety, but we're starting to, well, not gap the teams below us, but we're starting to sort of establish ourselves in there a little bit. But the key thing is now, Real Sporting are starting to get sucked back into this battle a little bit. One more win for us at some point could really start to make Espanyol and Real Sporting start to get a little bit squeaky. So it's kind of like what we were doing in Germany, where we were sucking those teams back in just by doing a decent job. Honestly, if you'd have given me 4 points from Real Zaragoza and Athletic Club away from home there, I would have happily taken that. Because if we hadn't have gotten those, we'd still be stuck down on 16 and looking really, really poor. Mallorca's turn up in form was a bit disappointing, but still, hopefully they'll get some tough games as well. Although that was one of them, really. So, toughies continuing. Right, we've got Real Madrid in the Cup, and we've got Atletico in the league, but we'll be coming back for Real Oviedo, another potentially winnable one, but it is, again, away from home. So, I mean, maybe. They're a decent side as well, but I still think there's definitely points on the board there, potentially. So, back in a sec. Okay then, so, we're back. We had a couple of games off camera against Real and Atleti. Obviously, Real was in the Cup. I decided to just completely rest out our squad, and unfortunately it didn't go well. I'm just going to show you the goals going in. We had to rest players because we were already 4-0 down from the first leg against them, and things just kind of got worse from there. The kids weren't having the best day of it. The goalkeeper still had a solid performance, really. They weren't doing that badly, really, but 2-0 down after just 5 minutes, and then it got worse after 13 minutes, and the game was kind of beyond us at that point. It was really just about resting out some guys to make sure we had full, fresh squad ready for the actual Atleti game at the weekend, because for me, that was just more important. Giving away a penalty before half-time made it 4-0, but then Modia's red card at the start of the second half really did not help. It was super soft. It was a second yellow. It was one of those ones where the players just stood next to each other in an open play move, and then they just sort of shake a bit, and then it was a red card. So, yeah, a bit annoying, that one. And we actually managed to hang on until sort of the 85th minute while we were only 5-0 down. But then Vaz just pulled out an absolute whopper of a goal to just sort of really kick things into gear. And unfortunately, moments later, things got that little bit worse for us. Not great for the morale of the kids by any means. Lovely bit of play here. And Felipe makes it 7-0. Not our finest performance. We already knew that going in. Candel still had a great game, really. But there's not a lot more he could do about that. You could see that the squad was almost entirely rotated, other than maybe Duguid. Everybody else, well, I just need to make sure we kept them fresh. It's always a risk, but when you're already 4-0 down, we had no way of turning that around against Real Madrid. I just thought, like, the key thing is to try and keep these guys up, but there is obviously you have to balance the morale hit that you take from a result like this. As next up, we hosted Atleti, and up until the 72nd minute, this game was so tight. Giannarelli finally gets a bit of space, pops it in, 1-0 Atletico. And that was the final score in the end. We did so well. Lopez was brilliant again. Lopez has actually done very, very well, despite my criticisms of him at times. The thing is, this game was dead even up until Atleti scored that goal. We were really holding them brilliantly. And it was around about that point that I was just thinking maybe we could just sort of shut this down fully and just get another 0-0 against a team like Atleti. And then they scored the goal. And then they had a couple of chances after that. Had a goal disallowed for offside. Rightly so, of course. But yeah, we were actually limiting them quite heavily until Giannarelli just got in behind. And it's just those tiny little moments that make the difference down there. And results elsewhere down at the bottom did not go our way either. So we now find ourselves bottom of the league. Now, again, it's not exactly all hands on the pump in terms of problems right now. The issue was last match day, as you can see here. Where are we looking here? So so Real Sporting beat Espanyol, which isn't, it's still a bad result because it pushes a team that was closer to us further away. But what the real poor results were is the fact that Valladolid beat Mallorca. Now, I'm actually not opposed to that because it does keep Mallorca from, because it'd be much worse if Mallorca had won that game, really. Because yes, Valladolid would still be below us, but Mallorca would also be further ahead of us, which is bad. But then unfortunately, Leganes took some points off Valencia. Valencia have dropped points against two teams now down at the bottom in the last couple of, which have really not helped us out, particularly with our tough run of fixtures. But again, the fixtures will hopefully come back towards us as the season finishes off. Our last sort of 5 games definitely looks like where we're going to need to make our money. If we're even if we go to those last 5 games 3 points from safety, that would still be, for me, a good position to be in. I'll just show you that before we get into today's game against Real Oviedo away from home and look at the other teams. In fact, you can see them here. So who else we got? We've got Valladolid and Leganes. They're playing each other. Good lord, they're getting so many good fixtures at the moment. Real Sporting are away at Betis. And then you've got, who's the other one? Oh, Real Madrid. Okay, good. So at the very least, it's unlikely that Mallorca are going to get anything from that. And we'll at least keep them in the battle a little bit more. And you know what? A win here, if we were actually to go away to Real Oviedo and pick up a result, that would be huge. But yeah, I'll just show you the run-in. So yeah, things after this with Barcelona, Sevilla, and Villarreal in there, it's not a good period of matches for us. Let's make no mistake about it. Those games are going to be difficult as hell. But it's the last 5. Huesca at home. We've been, we've only really played one game at home, other than Atleti, against the winnable side. We actually managed to pick up a result there. Then Osasuna away from home. You never know. Cadiz, okay, they're a good side, but we are at home at least. Valencia away, and they've dropped a lot of points lately. And then finishing off against Valladolid. I don't know. I feel like there's points to be gained over that 5-game period. Provided we're not completely cut adrift after this next little period of matches, I still think there's hope. But really, a lot of that is going to rest on if we could get a result against Real Oviedo. I think if we can beat them here, which would be an incredible result, that could be huge because it could just give us enough points to keep us in the battle until we get to those final 5 games. I don't know. We're just going to have to see, really. So I've been slowly but surely trying to get the team more familiar. They are definitely getting there, though. The tempo's very much there. The pressing's come along, and the roles are definitely bedding in a lot more. And hopefully by the time we get to those last 5 games, again, that stuff will have bedded in nicely. So team-wise, I'm going to go with the same lineup as I played in the last game. However, I am tempted to start Bellaribi for this one, as Lurkin's not been fantastic, really. The only thing he really does have is that he's slightly more familiar with the role. That's really the only sort of difference there. Peleo, he's really struggled to find any chances, unfortunately. Most of our chances, we haven't had a lot of chances in the last few games because they've been tough games anyway, but when they have fallen, they've mostly fallen to the likes of Roca. I haven't really seen Peleo get in behind and have a really good opportunity yet. Hopefully, though, today's the kind of day where that sort of thing could potentially happen for us, and my God, we've got to take them if we get them. But pleased for Christian Lopez. He has been awesome over the last few matches, and I think he could be Armando Cunha 2.0, honestly. He's made some fantastic saves, and he's definitely keeping us in games from time to time. And it never is in these things, and we wouldn't have it any other way. This, my friends, is a real battle. Kim had it easy, if you like, at Heidenheim. This is definitely something completely different. In the winnable match, and we really haven't had any, there was Athletic Club away, and we actually did get a point there, and probably were, I mean, if there was a better side, I think both teams were the worst side in that game, but I suppose you could say that if there was a better side, it probably was us. And against Real Zaragoza, I think we were definitely the better side. So we've proven that in the more even matches, we definitely can raise ourselves and play well. But it's just a question of whether we can do it today when it matters. Particularly with other games going on elsewhere, really. That's going to be absolutely vital with what happens in that Leganes Valladolid game. Surely they're going to get some more difficult fixtures coming on soon that might allow us a little bit of a respite. But it's matches like this that we must at least show something in. I want to see a performance much like the Real Zaragoza game. That's what we need right now. We need Roca to be on it. And just to get to those final 5 fixtures still within touching distance. That's really the key. Because I do think there's wins in those games. I think there's almost certainly, if we can keep our heads above water and keep playing with confidence, if we can, then there's definitely points up for grabs in those final four. And that last day of the season, Perez's header is over the bar. That last day of the season game against Valladolid could literally be a shootout for survival. Good. They definitely get... Oh, hello. Paleo's finally broken the back line. He's going to get the shot blocked, isn't he? Yeah. The defender was well positioned on that one. But that's one of the few times I've actually seen Paleo get in behind, really. We'll keep an eye on it. Mallorca are beating Real Madrid. Are you serious? What's going on here? 3 injuries for Cadiz in the first... in the first 19 minutes. And an injury for Real Zaragoza in the same incident, it looks like. 2-0 to Mallorca. Are you serious? Wow, when we needed a bit of fortune, Champions League holders and current league titles for like 4 years in a row, Real Madrid, are now failing to beat Mallorca. Oh, and they're 2 goals down. That could be catastrophic for us, no matter what we do here, if that continues in that vein. But we've definitely been the better side so far here, which is good. But we probably need to make something of this now. Roca, potentially. Nice! Great work from Benjamin. Now we need to find the space. Roca. Paulino's making the run. He might find him. He's got to find him, surely. Oh, Danielson! Oh! That was really nice play from him, cutting across. Once again, though, first half, I mean, I think it was against Zaragoza. They only had 1 shot in the whole of that first half against us, and today, Real Oviedo have had no shots. Oh, come on, please no. Oh, come on! Their first shot of the match, 44 minutes, Alexis gets through and it goes under the body of Christian Lopez. And all the hard work of this first half, as Leganes take the lead against Real Valladolid as well. They're so close to tackling him and they just don't. And then it's under his body. Oh, through his hands. Literally 1 shot, 1 goal, and they've got it. I really feel for the guys there. Not that we've been fantastic by ourselves, by any means, but we've defended relatively well for the most part, and then just bam, 1 shot, 1 goal. He's apparently not being hampered by the injury. But Bellaribi's been shocking today. And I think the second half sub is very likely and very quickly. We were doing solidly, managing the game quite nicely. Similar to the Bilbao type of game where we just looked we just looked better than them though. And now, and Betis have taken the lead at least, but good lord. This current result right now would leave us 6 points from safety because of the Mallorca result. Like, the thing is, without that, we're still just 3 points from safety and sort of completely in the battle. But right now, we're in a position now where we almost have to win just to stay in touching distance coming into this period now because of that ridiculous result from Mallorca. Paleo's in behind. Oh, the goalkeeper stepped away. He has to score, and he does, and he's offside. Are you joking? It do be being tough down at the bottom, my friends. But, hey, that's the point. Leganes 2-0 up now against Valladolid, which actually doesn't really make that much difference. It's 3-0 now. It's really the Mallorca game. We need Real Madrid to score 3 goals in the next 17 minutes. I mean, they put 7 past our... I mean, it was our kids, in fairness, but still. You'd expect top of the league and reigning European champions Real Madrid to be doing better against Mallorca right now. Particularly with the whole game, essentially, to do it, really. They were 2-0 down so quickly. Paleo now. Can he drive all the way through? He's going to get blocked, isn't he? Oh, a bit more space for Paleo. Shoot! Oh! That's a nice pick out. Actually, Lurkin's got it. We need the run, though. Gutierrez, a space through the middle. Loads of space for Agostini. And, well, Paleo's in a really weird position. But now Roca. Haven't seen much from him today, really, unfortunately. He's looking a little bit tired here, but he's into the box. Can he win a pen or something for us? Whips it in. Lurkin! Tipped over the crossbar by Delgado. We just need that chance. D'Agostini. Roca! That's another shot, but it's a weak one. Oh, Lurkin's free kick has gone for goal! Oh, it's hit the stanchion behind the net. One last chance for us, surely, and that's going to do it. It's going to be Real Oviedo 1, Albacete 0. a very tight game between the two sides where I think it was a very, very even one. Arguably, we were probably slightly the better side in this one, but it doesn't matter if you don't take your chances. And they had that one little chance in the first half, and they scored it. Goalkeeper just couldn't do anything about it. I don't think we were really even that bad on the night, but it doesn't matter. Not with Mallorca winning against Real Madrid. I agree, Nolan. I agree, mate. But what can we do? That's just... Real Madrid get a 91st minute goal back, but it's irrelevant at that point. And that has left us in deep, deep trouble now. That result right there. Like, honestly, losing here would suck, but it wouldn't have mattered so much if Mallorca lose to Real Madrid like you would expect them to. Given that they lost 3-1 to Valladolid in the last game, and now they've gone and beat Real. Oh, my God. And we didn't even play that badly in the grand scheme of things in that game. Oh, it was just looking that little bit better. A win against Zaragoza, a draw away at Athletic Club where we played reasonably well. And I don't think we were arguably we were actually better today than we were against Athletic Club, but it's just the way it goes. We now haven't scored in 4 games, though. Admittedly, that was the Cup, and that was against Atletico, but it still doesn't bode well. And next up is Barcelona at home. It doesn't get any easier. And then after that, oh my goodness me. This is going to be... If we manage to pull ourselves out of the mire from here, then that will be far more... That'll probably be the biggest achievement of this and Outcasto Icons, honestly. I think we're very much staring down the face of our first relegation, but we fight on until the end. And even if we're 5 points from safety going into these last 5 games, like, Huesca is winnable. We could do... If we play as well like that again in a game like against Osasuna or something, there's a chance. Cadiz... They're insanely good, potentially, but you still never know. Teams like that can sometimes still end up playing like the team you'd expect them to be, even if they're overperforming. Valencia away, they've dropped a lot of points. And then Valladolid, really, Huesca, Osasuna. I mean, they're all games which we should be getting some kind of points from, you'd hope. But it may not be enough. But, hey, that's all we can do. So, if you've enjoyed this episode and looking forward to the next couple of episodes to finish off this season, then, hey, drop a like on the video. That would be fantastic. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That would be lovely as well. I stream Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I'll see you guys over there as well. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Hold your gun. Capybara. Bye-bye.